I have a problem with public bathrooms. Not in the way that I refuse to use them, because trust me, when nature calls, and I'm not about to let it go to voicemail. No, my problem is that every single time I walk into a public bathroom, I become a completely different person. Like at home, I'm just a regular guy washing his hands, minding his business. But the moment I step into a public restroom, I transform into some kind of tactical field operative running through a mission briefing in my head. Okay, assess the situation, choose a stall, execute, get out. And every single time, without fail, something goes sideways. It starts before you even get inside because first you have to figure out if the bathroom is occupied or not. And this is already a minefield. If there's a little lock on the door handle that shows red when it's locked, great. Easy. A kindergartner could figure that out, but sometimes you get a bathroom with no indicator whatsoever. Just a plain door standing there daring you. So now you have to knock, which seems simple. But how hard do you knock? Too soft and nobody hears you. Too hard and you sound like you're the police. So you go with a medium knock, and then you wait, and you hear nothing. So now you have to ask yourself a very important question. Is this bathroom empty, or is there someone in there so committed to staying quiet that they've entered a meditative state? What was I supposed to do, stand there for the rest of my natural life? So you try the handle, and the door opens. And for about half a second, you think you're in the clear, until you realize someone is absolutely in there. And now you've both made eye contact, and you will think about that moment for the rest of the week. So you wait. And eventually the bathroom is yours. And now the real adventure begins. The stall situation. There's a whole psychology to picking a stall. If there are 3 stalls and 2 are taken, you don't get a choice. But if they're all empty, now you're a philosopher. You're standing there weighing the pros and cons of each one like you're buying a house. The first stall is too close to the door. The last stall always feels like it's seen too much. So you end up in the middle one. Every time. The middle stall is the Switzerland of bathroom stalls. Neutral, safe, reliable, and then you close the door and you go to lock it. And the lock is one of those slide bolts that you have to kind of wiggle and jiggle and pray over before it actually catches. And even when it does lock, you're not fully confident in it. So you spend the next few minutes holding the door shut with one foot just in case. Just in case of what? I don't know. But you do it anyway. Now, there are some unwritten rules of the public bathroom that I feel very strongly about. One of them is the no talking rule. I don't know you. You don't know me. We are simply 2 strangers who happen to need to be in the same place at the same time. There is nothing to discuss. And yet, every few months, I encounter a man who has not received this memo, who starts chatting about sports, about the weather, about his week. Sir, this is not a networking event. I am not going to hand you my business card on the way out. The other big rule is the buffer zone. If there are 5 urinals and only 1 is taken, you do not take the one right next to the occupied one. This is not negotiable. This is just how it works. I don't know who invented this rule or when, but it has been passed down silently from generation to generation, and it is sacred. But then you get to the sink, and this is where public bathrooms truly reveal their character. Because I have never, not once in my life, encountered a soap dispenser that worked the way I expected it to. Either it's automatic, and it just refuses to acknowledge my hand is there, so I'm standing there waving at a soap dispenser like I'm saying goodbye to someone on a train. Or it's a manual pump and you push it and nothing comes out, so you push harder. And suddenly you've got enough soap to wash a car. And then there's the water. The faucet is also automatic, and it works great. Until the moment you actually have soap on your hands, then it turns off. So now you're doing the same dance I did with that water bottle. Move your hands. Sensor activates. Water on. Soap goes everywhere. Sensor loses you. Water off. You're just standing there, sudsy and defeated, at a sink in a Panera Bread. I sometimes think the people who design public bathrooms have never actually been in one. And then you go to dry your hands, and here is where it gets personal. Because there are 2 kinds of hand dryers in this world. There are the old ones, the slow ones, the ones that feel like a slightly annoyed person breathing on your hands. You stand there for 45 seconds and walk away with hands that are maybe 60% dry. And you wipe the rest on your pants and pretend that didn't happen. And then there are the new ones, the ones that sound like a jet engine preparing for takeoff. You stick your hands in and the sheer force of the thing nearly removes your skin. Water flies off in every direction. You pull your hands out and they're perfectly dry. But you also can't hear anything for the next 3 minutes. And somehow the floor immediately around the dryer is completely soaked. How does that happen? I think I will always choose paper towels if I'm given the option. Now, the final boss of the public bathroom experience is the door on the way out. Because you've just washed your hands. You've done everything right. You are a responsible, hygienic adult. And now you have to grab a door handle that every other person in this building has also grabbed, with their hands, which may or may not have been washed. So you grab a paper towel first if you can, or you use your elbow, which looks absolutely ridiculous and you know it. Or you just go for it and think about it for the rest of the day. There is no winning move here. A few weeks ago, I was at a mall and the bathroom line was pretty long. And there was this older gentleman kind of shuffling in place near the back, clearly in a hurry, clearly having a rough time of it. And without anybody saying a word, the 3 people in front of him just quietly stepped aside and waved him forward. No big announcement, no applause. Just 3 people being decent human beings to a 4th human being who needed a small act of grace in a pretty undignified situation. Nobody got thanked. Nobody made it a thing. They just did it and went back to waiting. I think about that a lot, actually. Not every act of kindness has to be a grand gesture. Sometimes it's just paying attention to the person standing next to you and figuring out what they need in that exact moment. Also, please wash your hands. I cannot stress this enough.